Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Mastering SEO and PPC Campaign Budgets, Pitfalls to Avoid. Welcome. We'll get started in just a moment while individuals are still coming into our webinar room. If you are already here, I encourage you to find the chat and the questions area and let us know who you are. Let us know the name of the business that you're representing, your industry, and even perhaps your role within the business. It's always great to see who we have in our sessions. Also, it helps us as we prepare and share the content with you today, so that way we can try to make it even more relevant to everyone we have on the call. Awesome. Good deal. Looks like we've got a good number to get started, so let's jump in. Mastering SEO and PPC Campaign Budgets, Pitfalls to Avoid. This webinar is hosted by Local IQ, and if this is your first time joining one of our sessions, welcome, and allow me to introduce you to Local IQ. We are a multi-channel digital marketing agency, which means we are specialists in SEO, PPC, paid social, display advertising, website design, and so much more. We are a part of the NewsQuest Media Group, which is more than 200 trusted news brands across the UK. So that means we can even help your business with your print and integrated marketing strategy as well. We have a pretty large team of professionals across our client services division of our business, but on the left you can see here just a few of the individuals, the trusted experts who work closely with your business to help you achieve your SEO specific growth goals. So that team is ready to support and help your business with that strategy. Today we'll focus on three core areas in our webinar. SEO versus PPC. We'll talk about how they're different and how they complement each other. We'll talk about setting up campaign budgets. And there we'll talk about what you need to know in order to make sure you have and protect your marketing budget overall, and what influences PPC and SEO campaign budget specifically. And then finally, we'll talk about the pitfalls to avoid when you're trying to budget for PPC and SEO campaigns. I'm Brandon Griffin. I'm head of B2B marketing for Local IQ, and I'll be the facilitator for today's conversation, but I'm very happy to have two Local IQ digital marketing experts with us today. We've got Charlotte, our team leader for paid media campaigns, and Shai, a senior team leader for our SEO division. So welcome to you both. And before we begin, can you both tell us a little bit about yourselves and your experience working with clients here at Local IQ?
Sure. So I'm Charlotte. I've been with Local IQ since 2018. I've worked on over 700 campaigns across search mostly, but also social and display networks, covering basically everything from legal to locksmiths. The majority of the clients that I work with are running paid search with us across both Google and Bing, and they operate in all areas of the UK. They also have a variety of different goals, meaning that our campaigns are flexible and customised to fit their needs.
Thanks, Charlotte. So I'm Shai. I'm the senior SEO team leader at Local IQ. I've been in the SEO world for just over 15 years, including working as a consultant and in-house and agency roles as well. So I'd like to think I have a pretty well-rounded view of what clients are looking for and how to achieve their goals. I joined Local IQ nearly 2 years ago, during which we've had a lot of rapid growth, both in terms of clients and the size of our team itself. We've doubled on both accounts during that time and added a wealth of experience in the team as well. In terms of clients, we have clients that are solicitors, window fitters, aesthetic clinics, estate agents, schools, e-commerce brands, and everything in between. So definitely a huge range there. Every client has their own sort of set of challenges and aims, and in a lot of ways that variety is one of the more exciting things about what we do at Local IQ. The common theme, I'd say, between all those clients is needing an agency that understands their goals, simplifies SEO, and provides a clear and transparent service, and of course delivers results as well. And I'd like to think that we do that. So producing an excellent result and delivering a great experience at the same time is at the heart of everything we do in the SEO team. So clients can be assured we always have the success in mind when we're optimizing their campaigns.
Awesome. Thank you, Charlotte, and thank you, Shai. And again, welcome to you both, and welcome to those who may have just joined us. I see the numbers going up, so that's really good. People are still joining us. Today's session is going to be all about campaign budgets, and it's great for those who are a bit further in their digital marketing journey. But don't worry if you're just getting started with SEO and PPC. We've got some additional webinars that may be helpful. Including a 3-part SEO masterclass series, which is great for those who want to go deeper and learn more about SEO strategies. And if you're wondering about PPC strategies, we've got a webinar, 7 steps to success as it relates to PPC campaigns. That webinar will be very good for any individuals and businesses that want to do more on that PPC space. So just go to our webinar section on our website, and you can click on these links when you receive today's presentation deck. And on that note, today's session is being recorded, so you will receive the slides and the recording to replay at your leisure within about 24 hours of today's session. And then one more last housekeeping thing. If you have questions, feel free to chat us in the questions in the chat area of this webinar platform. We do have a Q&A segment at the end of our session today, but we've also got some colleagues who are in the chats as well, and so they may be able to answer some of your questions along the way. So feel free to go to that same Q&A area where you just introduced yourself and submit questions if you have them. All right, so let's jump in to part 1. Part 1 is SEO versus PPC. And I think, Charlotte, you're going to kick us off here. In what ways is SEO different from PPC?
Sure, Brendan. So just to mention a few things from this list, SEO is a long-term strategy. So SEO efforts often take time to yield results, but they can provide sustained visibility and traffic over the long term. Whereas PPC can generate immediate visibility and traffic to a website by displaying ads at the top of search engine results pages, or SERPs, as you may have heard them called. SEO also focuses on optimizing the website to rank higher in organic search engine results. That's driving traffic naturally without paying for the clicks. And PPC involves paying for each click on the ad, hence the name, allowing for precise control over budget allocations and targeting. SEO involves optimizing website content, meta tags, headings, and structure to align with search engine algorithms and user intent, whereas PPC requires more compelling ad copy, lots of relevant keywords, and persuasive call to action to attract those clicks and the conversions, of course. And then number 4 is keyword targeting. So SEO relies on keyword research and optimization to target specific search queries and topics relevant to that business, whereas PPC allows precise targeting based on demographics, interests, user behavior, and of course the keywords, and not to mention the geographic location as well. And we will talk about budgeting in the next part, so I won't go into that in finer detail now, but the last one I will mention is how, while organic rankings in search results can enhance brand credibility and trustworthiness amongst users, PPC ads actually appear in the above the organic search results, providing immediate visibility to users searching for any relevant keywords or phrases within the areas.
Charlotte, those are really good call outs, and the last one you mentioned is a good segue into talking about not just how SEO and PPC are different, but how they complement each other. And Shai, can you take us through that bit for us a bit more, how they can complement each other? You may have to take yourself off of mute.
Yeah, so absolutely. Implementing both an SEO and PPC campaign at the same time can be really beneficial for businesses. SEO usually takes time to build organic rankings, visibility, traffic, and ultimately conversions. So a PPC campaign, while that's building up, is a good way to generate immediate traffic and leads for a business. This also allows businesses to assess market demand and PPC data, and therefore adjust their SEO strategies accordingly. So starting off, we have keyword insights. As I just mentioned, PPC campaigns can provide valuable insights into which keywords drive the most traffic and conversions. This data can inform the work we do from an SEO point of view and the strategy itself, including keyword targeting and content creation. Secondly, performance metrics from PPC campaigns, such as click-through rates and conversion rates, can indicate which keywords and messaging is resonating the most with the target audience, and that in turn can guide our SEO efforts as well. So in essence, PPC campaigns can serve as a bit of a testing ground for SEO strategies. Moving on to what Charlotte mentioned in the previous slide, combining SEO and PPC efforts can increase a business's visibility on the SERPs, as it ensures a website occupies more real estate and captures a larger share of potential clicks, both in the paid listings but also the organic listings itself. Next up, we've got ad quality scores. So a lot of work we do within SEO campaigns can improve the quality score of PPC ads as well. For example, we may add content and improve landing pages when it comes to the overall layout and flow, which makes the pages more relevant and also improves the user experience. Higher quality scores result in lower costs per click and better ad placements. So having an agency that's able to collaborate and work in tandem makes a lot of sense for businesses. Lastly, the ability to adjust PPC campaigns in real time allows businesses to quickly respond to changes in market conditions, seasonality, or competitor actions. This complements the longer-term nature of SEO efforts, which provides a balanced marketing approach.
Awesome. Thanks for taking us through those, Shai and Charlotte. Now, let's go into the second item on our agenda, which is setting campaign budgets. Now, I won't spend much time here because this may seem like an obvious thing for some, but it is worth mentioning. Your budgets for SEO and PPC campaigns should most likely come from the overall marketing budget of your business. But believe it or not, some businesses don't even have structured budgets for marketing. And this is especially common for new and smaller businesses. Or if they have a budget, sometimes marketing is one of the first categories to take a hit when there are budget cuts. And our research showed that nearly 60% of businesses experience budget cuts in the past 12 months. So it's a serious thing and something worth talking about. So the message here is to make sure your company and your leadership agree on an overall marketing budget, because as you can see here, there are a host of reasons your business will benefit and your department will benefit too. It'll help you prioritize projects to invest in, compare year-over-year progress. Number 3, allocate funds for projects in advance. It'll help you justify the importance of specific projects, calculate the ROI, get a better budget in the future, and even allocate funds to execute your strategy. And that's inclusive of software, platforms, advertising costs, and even people resources. And when I look at this list, I think it's especially important to remember, even if you start with a small budget, having a budget and being able to demonstrate your year-on-year progress alone can be very powerful, a very powerful negotiating tool to help you get a better budget in the future. So something worth noting. And to help you have those conversations with your leadership, here I think are some really helpful insights. In our 2024 State of Digital Marketing Report, Local IQ asked more than 500 businesses throughout the UK about their marketing budgets. And this graph on the right is what the results look like. Now we have businesses of all sizes, all industries responding, but what we can see here is that just about 50% of the businesses spend up to £25,000 a year on marketing alone. And you can even see that there was about like 8% here who didn't even know what their marketing budget was. So hopefully everyone on the call today who has the marketing responsibility has clarity around what your budget is. If not, this is a great time to start asking the right questions to your team. Let's see, on our next slide, we'll talk about the typical marketing budget, because here's a good rule of thumb. A Deloitte survey found that marketing is typically comprised of 13% of a company's total annual budget. Now, that's just a good rule of thumb, and of course, it varies, right? But a deeper dive into that report found this breakdown, which shows the percentage of company revenue for the marketing budget for each industry type. So let me know in the chat, in that question and chats area of our webinar, if this seems to be aligned with what the reality is for your business. For example, like if you're in education, your marketing is probably closer to 3% of your total budget, not 13%. And if you're in healthcare, probably a little bit more, 18%, technology, 21%, and so on. So yeah, let us know in the chat how this fares to what your world is like in your business and your industry. But again, these are just benchmarks, and it can be a good starting point for your planning, because your overall marketing budget, again, is the foundation of all your activities and what they will cost. So with that in mind, let's talk specifically about SEO and PPC. Shai, when it comes to SEO, how does a business begin to budget for that?
Thanks, Brandon. So before we get into the detail, there is probably a bit of a myth that I'd like to debunk, which is that SEO is free. So while SEO is all about improving rankings in the organic listings, which is obviously the area of the SERPs where a business doesn't have to pay for every single click it gets, it does take resource to position your website and your content to show up in that area as well. So that's just a bit of myth debunking there. But in terms of things to consider, in terms of budgeting, the first one would be the size and the overall complexity of the business website. So larger websites with multiple pages, complex site structures, dynamic content, they might require more extensive and focused optimization efforts, which results in the need for a higher budget. Secondly, the competitiveness of target keywords and the level of difficulty in ranking for them, that also affects the SEO budget. Highly competitive keywords may require more resources for content creation, link building, and ongoing optimization in order to achieve desired results. So this is an important factor to consider. Thirdly, the scope of SEO services as well. So on-page optimization, off-page optimization, technical SEO audits, content development, link building, ongoing maintenance. All of these will also impact the budget depending on how much is required for the client. Fourthly, we've got local SEO campaigns, which I think is a bit of a different sort of price point there, where local SEO campaigns focus on sort of specific geographic regions. They might require less investment compared to national or global SEO campaigns that target some more broader audiences, although it does depend on the other factors I've already mentioned as well. The timeline as well for achieving SEO goals and expectations regarding the pace of results also influences the budget. SEO is a long-term process, but if the timeline afforded to us is on the lower end, we'll need to invest more time and resource than what is usually typical. And lastly, hiring and retaining skilled SEO professionals or engaging reputable agencies may incur different costs, as they all come with their own considerations, which is something to bear in mind as well when setting a budget.
Thanks for that, Shai. And Charlotte, how about PPC? What influences the budget there?
Well, to start, I think understanding the target audience demographics, their interests, their behaviours and preferences is essential for an effective PPC advertising campaign. The size and segmentation of that target market can influence the budget allocations for reaching different audience segments. The competitiveness of keywords relevant to the business, niche or industry directly impacts the cost per click rates in a PPC advertising platform such as Google Ads or Microsoft Bing Ads. High competition keywords may require larger budgets to maintain visibility and their competitiveness. Bidding strategies, ad rank, ad placement goals, these all influence the amount allocated for the cost per click bids and ad placements. We've got certain ad formats, they may require higher production costs or generate better engagement, impacting the overall budget allocation. Seasonal fluctuations, market trends, holidays or special events all influence PPC campaign performance and budgeting. Determining the optimal ad scheduling and timing for PPC campaigns based on the audience behaviour too, so peak traffic hours or conversion trends, these also affect the budget decisions.
Great, thanks for that, Charlotte. Now that we understand some things that we need to take into consideration when planning, PPC and SEO budgets, now is a good time to transition to that third topic and talk about, the pitfalls, the things to look out for when we're trying to plan for these budgets. So, Charlotte, I think you're going to take us through some of those common PPC budgeting mistakes. What are those?
Yeah, the first thing to discuss is overspending on irrelevant keywords. So overspending on any irrelevant keywords can drain your budget, reducing the overall return on investment of your PPC campaign. It also skews campaign metrics, and this makes it really challenging to accurately assess performance and optimize any future campaigns. So there are some ways to avoid this. Step one, I would recommend conducting thorough keyword research to identify relevant and high intent keywords. I would also utilize keyword match types. So we have broad match, phrase match, and exact match. The more exact match it is rather than the broader end, this means more refined targeting. And I would recommend reviewing and optimizing your keyword list to remove underperforming or any irrelevant keywords. So featured here is a blog on our website which goes into depth about conducting effective keyword research. This blog covers what keywords are, how they work, the different types of keywords, free tools for keyword research, how to choose the right keywords, and where to use keywords throughout your website. So loads of great stuff in the blog, and I would actively encourage everyone to take a look at that when you have some free time. The next PPC budgeting mistake is ignoring the negative keywords, so the other side. Negative keywords and neglecting these can lead to wasted ad spend on clicks, and they're unlikely to result in any conversions. So without any negative keyword management, your ads may appear for irrelevant searches, and this can reduce campaign relevance and diminish the overall return on investment. So I would avoid regularly, to avoid this, we should regularly analyze search term reports to identify irrelevant search queries triggering your ads. Compile a comprehensive list of any negative keywords based on irrelevant search terms, competitor brand names, or unrelated topics, and implement negative keywords at the campaign or the ad group level to ensure precise targeting and eliminate wasteful spending on irrelevant clicks. And the third common PPC budgeting mistake is wasteful spending. So wasteful spending diminishes the efficiency and profitability of your PPC campaigns, reducing the overall return on investment. It also limits your ability to scale campaigns effectively and achieve the desired business outcomes. So to avoid this, we encourage you to set clear campaign objectives and establish key performance indicators, which Brendan will share in a moment. Implement bid strategies that align with your campaign goals. I would monitor campaign performance and adjust bidding and the messaging based on real-time data and insights. And finally, conduct some A/B testing to optimize ad creatives, landing pages, and targeting parameters.
Thanks for taking us through those, Charlotte. Now, that one you mentioned, that's a pretty big one. Being able to adjust bidding and messaging based on real-time data and insights. And that can be kind of hard to do, especially when a business may only have a team of 2 or 3 people in their marketing department. And especially in this day where something can go trending overnight because of something that's in the news or an influencer makes a social media post. So can you tell us a bit more about how a business can position themselves to respond in real time, like using the data and insights that you just mentioned?
Yes, Brendan, very true. And the best way a business can position themselves to respond in real time is to leverage technology to support their team. So here at Local IQ, our proprietary technology allows us to optimize campaigns based on conversions to receive the greatest ROI for the advertiser. So our automation bids up the keywords that are converting to maintain their competitiveness, and it bids down keywords that are not converting. So this way we don't waste any of the advertiser's budget on keywords that are generating phone calls or form fills on that client's website.
So wait, what you just said, I think that's important to kind of reiterate. So are you saying that the technology that Local IQ uses can track back which keywords in my PPC campaign are generating the most phone calls for my business and form conversions? Like, how is that even possible?
Yeah, so I don't want to get too technical, but with a lot of our clients, we actually insert a code snippet onto their site. It collects the visit reporting and lead event data from the website, and then it feeds it back to our Client Center application. So within the Client Center, our advertisers can even listen back to recordings of their phone calls through to the business. So it's not just great for quality assurance and training, but it does help businesses understand the value of that lead, so they can attribute each call and ensure that calls are routed properly within the business. It's a lot more we can do, and I encourage, if a business would like to learn more about this, just let us know in the chat or to book a session with the team on our website, because it is really new, it's fresh and it's exciting, and there's not a lot of transparency portals like this.
Yeah, no, that is awesome, Charlotte, especially from that transparency standpoint and really being able to track back really and attribute that ROI for the keywords and all those campaigns to see which ones are actually driving the phone calls and the lead form conversion. So thank you for sharing that. And then also for our attendees, Charlotte mentioned KPIs, and so this is just you can consider it your cheat sheet for you to review when you receive the slide deck. So when you start to measure and track the performance of your PPC campaigns, these are some common KPIs and how to calculate them, right? And so from your click-through rate, your conversion rate, CPC, cost per click, you hear us talking about that, and a host of others, you can refer back to this so that way you can incorporate it into your reporting. So that's PPC. Next, Shai, what are the common SEO budgeting mistakes that you have for us from that SEO standpoint?
Yeah, so the two I will share are underestimating ongoing SEO efforts and neglecting technical SEO. So the first mistake is when a business allocates budget solely for initial optimization tasks, so essentially a one-off SEO burst, without really accounting for continuous monitoring, updates, and ongoing optimization that may be required to maintain and increase search visibility over time. So to help prevent this, we recommend creating a strategic roadmap that outlines short-term and long-term SEO objectives, including ongoing tasks such as content updates, link building, and technical optimizations. We also recommend setting aside a budget for ongoing SEO activities, including website audits and performance monitoring tools. The costs of these tools can be quite expensive, so it's important to factor this into your consideration as well. And as a final point on this mistake, it's worth bearing in mind that SEO is an evolving field and search algorithms frequently change. So failing to invest in ongoing SEO efforts can result in diminished SEO rankings and visibility. So competitors may adapt quicker to algorithm updates and steal a march when it comes to rankings. The second most common SEO budgeting mistake often occurs when businesses prioritize content creation and off-page SEO optimization while neglecting the fundamental technical issues that may be impacting the website. So an example of this would be a client we had in the aesthetic clinic sector who came to us looking for SEO services, particularly with a focus on content creation. So they already had some really well-written content on the website, but they wanted us to build on that a bit further. Before we started writing any content though, we carried out a technical SEO audit to ensure the content we generate had the best chance to succeed. We quickly realized that we had to focus on getting a better website structure and hierarchy in place and fix a few other technical issues as well that were hindering the website. So we focused on this for the first 3 months of our campaign. Once we did this, we saw the content they already had on the website started gaining a lot more relevant organic traffic, and the content we then published on the website often ranked well within weeks of publishing rather than months. So the takeaway from that would be you can have the best, most optimized content on your website, but technical issues can prevent search engines from properly understanding the content and ranking it, which results in lower search visibility and reduced organic traffic. So in order to avoid all of this, our recommendation would be a business should conduct regular website audits to make sure there's nothing hindering the website's growth. Optimize the website's navigation, the site structure, and page layouts to enhance user experience, which is something Google has put a lot of emphasis on over the last 4 to 5 years. They should also leverage structured data markup, which is commonly referred to as schema, that provides search engines with contextually rich information about content in order to better understand it and the website as a whole. And lastly, consider partnering with an agency that's well versed in technical SEO, such as Local IQ, to help resolve complex technical issues.
Great advice there, Shai. And you mentioned using structured data markup or schema. That was actually one of the advanced SEO strategies we covered in our SEO Masterclass webinar series that I shared at the start of our webinar. So I encourage everyone to watch that if you'd like to learn more details about how to implement that specific tactic. And finally, for our attendees, here are some common KPIs that are worth tracking if you're measuring the performance of your SEO campaign. And you can refer back to this as you need, as I mentioned, when you receive the webinar slides. But also, Shai, I really appreciate the client example you provided of the work you did with the aesthetic clinic. Do you have any other examples that you can share with us for where you've seen SEO and or PPC work for a client?
Thanks. Yes, I do. So we had a client called Pitfalls, who are the biggest pet door installation company in the UK. They offer specialist and bespoke cat flaps and dog doors in a range of different designs and to fit any type of door. They came to us with the ambition of increasing overall brand awareness and to become the most well-known company for pet door installations across the UK. So to achieve this, our SEO team created a comprehensive SEO strategy, which followed extensive competitive research and keyword research. This included improving the existing website content to rank better for keywords, creating new pages that match user intent, and we also helped redesign their website for a better user experience as well. So in terms of results, the SEO campaign generated a 230% increase in users, as you can see over there, and also an increase in online conversions by 466%, which obviously was a key factor for the client. And they now rank between position 1 and 3 for 123 keywords. So fantastic results, great visibility for our client, and it's really helped them grow into becoming the go-to company within their field.
That's a really good example, Shai, and very impressive that you can work with the client and track how many keywords they're ranking for and where they're positioned at as well. I'm sure having that information is like really helpful in focusing not only your efforts but budget as well. And for our attendees, when you get this the slides, here is an extra resource. You can click on this, or you can just go to our website as well. The blog is there, and we provide a few more examples as to how we work with some clients as it relates to SEO and some of the results that they have received. And Charlotte, how about you? What about PPC? Are there any case studies on your end worth sharing?
Yes, Brendan. So our work with Gatehouse School is definitely worth mentioning. So Gatehouse School is an independent prep school based in Buckinghamshire. 12 years ago, the school transitioned from a boys' independent school into a co-ed school. So their main goal was to increase their admission numbers, especially for girls, so that they could balance their girl to boy pupil ratio. So Local IQ curated an integrated blended marketing solution of search engine marketing, or SEM, targeted Facebook lead ads and retargeting campaigns. So each customised to serve the school's regional and local areas. There was a heavy focus on Client Centre, which is our transparency portal, so that the managers at Gatehouse could nurture and monitor any incoming leads, which was assisted by a tailored customised lead ad form on a school's social campaign. Overall, Local IQ's campaigns for Gatehouse School delivered over 16,000 clicks to their website, generating over 289 leads within 10 months. The marketing success resulted in Gatehouse School achieving its most successful intake of students in record time.
Wow, great examples there as well, Charlotte, and thank you. And thanks for introducing paid social ads as yet another layer that can be added onto a business's digital marketing plan. So there you have it, SEO, PPC, and even paid social. All of them can work together. Great stuff there. And also just another resource for the webinar attendees. If you click on this resource, you can see more PPC case studies from Local IQ when you receive this. So we're nearing the end. We still have Q&A coming up next. So if you have questions, feel free to put them into the chat questions in the Q&A area, and we'll answer those in just a few minutes. But as a quick recap, today we cover SEO versus PPC, how they're alike, how they're different, and if you're limited on resources, how you can determine which ones might be best for your business in the blog that we shared on those specific slides. We talked about the things that you need to take into consideration as it relates to your marketing budget in general, but also when you're setting up campaign budgets for SEO and PPC campaigns. And then finally, Shai and Charlotte shared us their insider secrets about the special things that we need to try to avoid when we're budgeting for these types of campaigns. Here at Local IQ, we always try to make our webinars easy to follow and very actionable. So if there's just one thing that your business could do today to get the ball rolling on everything we talked about, I would recommend you doing this. And that is on our website, and I'll put the link in the chat, we have a Local IQ SEO website audit. It's a free SEO audit tool that provides a really extensive review of the most critical factors that search engines rely on when they're ranking your website. The report, it'll audit your website very quickly in over 100 different factors, and then it'll give it to you in a category style. So it'll talk about how your website fares with its on-page SEO, links, general performance, usability, and even how social is influencing your website and how your website influences social. So it's a great free tool on our website. I encourage you to take a look. I just put the link in the chat. You just go in, put in your website address, and then it'll give you really actionable areas for SEO improvement. And it's a really great tool. So Shai and Charlotte, if you don't mind, we'll move into the Q&A section of our webinar. We've got some questions that have come through. And if we aren't able to get to all of them, I just want to let you know now that we will publish a blog on tomorrow with any and all of the questions that are asked today. So if we don't get to you live, don't worry, just refer back to our blog and the webinar recording on tomorrow. But the first question we've got that has come through, Shai, I think this one is going to be for you. You mentioned hiring and retaining skilled SEO professionals or engaging agencies can incur costs for businesses, and that's something that should be kept in mind when budgeting. Can you talk about the various types of pricing structures that businesses may encounter, and then tell us a little bit about what Local IQ's approach is to this?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, SEO budgets are usually influenced by the size of the website, competition for main keywords, and the amount of optimization that's required. At Local IQ, we conduct a bespoke audit for all clients at the very early stages, so before they actually sign on with us, which determines the budget and also the type of work we'll be doing for them. So our SEO contracts are typically based on deliverables rather than an hourly rate, which other agencies do prefer at times. We think deliverables is probably the better approach to take because it ensures clients really know what they're getting for the fee they're paying, rather than basing on how much work we can fit in within the contracted hours. So the minimum contract term for SEO at Local IQ is 6 months, but results can obviously take anywhere between 6 to 18 months to really start showing. My opinion is hiring a dedicated team for SEO, including a content writer, an SEO specialist, a technical specialist, a web developer. That all usually works out to be more expensive than an SEO contract, which typically costs about 1.2K to maybe about 1.8K per month. So at Local IQ, the focus for us is on the deliverables, ensuring clients know exactly what they're getting each month, regardless of how many hours it takes, which we think is a better method.
Yeah, no, that's really good because there's nothing like trying to manage a budget, but then you have a lot of unknowns. So I appreciate that our approach here at Local IQ is to, one, you do the audit at the beginning and to see everything that needs to be done, could be done, and then you do that monthly based off deliverables. And that's a big thing too. No matter how long it takes for a deliverable to be completed, the businesses still charge, that one agreed amount. So thanks for providing some clarity on that. And then earlier too, breaking that myth that SEO is free. As you mentioned earlier, while it's about showing up on those search engine result pages in those areas where a business doesn't necessarily have to pay per click every time a consumer clicks on your ad, it does take resource to get to that place and position your business in those spaces, and that's where the cost comes in. So thank you for providing clarity on that. Maybe one or two more questions, and I think the next two, Charlotte, probably are in your neck of the woods as we talk about PPC. This question is, we talked about PPC being great to show immediate results, and they're also great for time-sensitive campaigns. But can Charlotte elaborate more on using PPC campaigns for the short versus long-term type strategies?
Yeah, Sure. So short bursts of campaigns are good, but we would always recommend an always on campaign. It's just ideal for consistent results. So it can take around 2 to 3 cycles for a PPC campaign to fully optimize. And the reason that we refer to it as cycles and not months is because it doesn't start at the first of the month and then run to the end of the month. And also it doesn't necessarily have to be 30, 31 days. It can depend on demand and spend rates. So we do refer to them as cycles rather than months. We go in, we make manual changes, but around that 2 to 3 cycle level, that's where the campaign has enough data to make smart bidding choices. So we tend to set it up and leave it alone, let the API do its work until, well, unless it needs human intervention, which is pretty normal.
Thanks for that, Charlotte. Now you mentioned, you mentioned like always on campaigns, and that sometimes it can take a minute for the campaigns to really the technology to learn the data of the campaign so that it can really optimize itself. So can you describe a little bit more about what it will look like if a business wanted to run what you described an always on campaign and seasonal campaigns or time sensitive campaigns at the same time? What does that look like?
Sure. So when the client gives us a budget that they can work with, that budget is effectively set at the campaign level. So if you think of that at the top level, and then within that campaign, we have different ad groups. So if we take education, for example, you might have pre-prep and then maybe a nursery school. So we do have flexibility. We can, flick off prep if applications are full, or we can, turn something on for a short period of time. But ultimately, when that budget is set at the top campaign level, because of the conversions and the conversion-based optimization, we can't always control where that budget goes to. So we recommend having a consistent always-on campaign. But then if that school, for example, just to go back to that one, say if they really wanted to push nursery, and that's what they wanted to do, we would recommend them setting up another campaign on top of that, because that's where the control comes from for the budget. So different budgets for different needs, and it's all based on the research that we go ahead and do. But always recommend having a primary campaign, and then we could do short bursts of different campaigns for limited periods of time.
Cool, thanks for describing that. And I think we got time for very quickly one more question. This question goes to you, Charlotte. We talked about wasteful spending. When your campaign is spending more of your budget than it really needs to spend, right? More budget than is actually providing a positive return. But can you talk about what it means to underspend? So if I've got £1,000 in my PPC campaign and I set it, I log in a week later and it's only spent like £100. So what does that mean when it's not spending or doesn't seem to be spending quick enough? If people have those problems, I guess businesses do have those problems sometimes.
Yeah, we've seen those problems happen, and we're always quick to jump on it. We diagnose underspend pretty quickly. There are times where your budget can spend too quickly if you don't monitor it. So to take your example, if you put £1,000 in and instead of it taking a month to spend, it's gone in a week. Obviously that's not ideal. Sometimes it's the opposite. We do have precautions in place to prevent that from happening. It does not happen without the platforms that we use, but we do see underspend on occasion. It is preventable, and we work on a resolution with our clients to prevent that. So we might want to consider the search volumes of the keywords. So are people actually looking for your product and using the terms that we've got built in to the campaign? And we might also want to consider geographic targeting as well. So there's only so much population density within a 5-mile radius, and then if we up that to 10, 15, obviously that can have a large impact because we've got more searches within that target area as well. So we ask ourselves the question, are your ads reaching enough people? And then local IQ and your client success manager works with you to make sure that that spending is on track as it can be.
Awesome. And so with that, I think we're going to wrap it up. Charlotte and Shai, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing us your insider secrets about how businesses can really avoid some of these budgeting mistakes as it relates to setting up PPC and SEO budgets and how the two can work together. I learned a lot, and I hope our attendees did as well. Again, I want to encourage you, think about those actionable steps that you can take after this webinar, which includes doing that free SEO audit for your website. I put the link in our chat, so I encourage all businesses to do that. And then reach out to us as well to learn a little bit more about the specific strategies and tactics that we can implement for your businesses, because while there are benchmarks and best practices, every business is unique, and our experts are ready to support your business's unique needs. Again, thank you everyone for joining our webinar today. Within 24 hours, you'll receive today's recording, and then also on our website, you can access all of our other webinars too if you want to dive deeper into any of the topics that we talked about today, whether it's SEO, PPC, paid social, we have it all on our website. So again, to all of our attendees, thank you, and our speakers, Charlotte and Shai, see you all soon, and thank you.